But first, personality.
If you're thinking these are charismatic creatures, no, they're not.
Well, they got, what, plus 4 charisma. So actually, they're very charismatic.
Well, that's not how they act, though.
Right. Well, they are conniving. They're deceptive. They'll trick you.
I mean, they're kind of like Romulans or Vulcans from, like, Star... normally, they're very logical.
No, that's very true. Yeah, that's a perfect analogy.
They're very logical, and they're actually, most of the time, kind of emotionless. They're like, we know a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
We're good. But, yes, they are lawful evil. That's their alignment. So, so they're not nice, but they don't just kill you instantly. So they'll try to trick you into slavery. So they'll normally use their probing telepathy to figure out what do you want, really, out of everyone who talks to it. And they'll normally talk.
That's a combat strategy right there. Let's just say, how do they, like, what's their personality? Not what actions do they take, what's their personality?
Emotionless, cunning, logical, mean.
Yes.
They're mean.
Yes. So, yeah, I'll add on to those. The first thing I think that is really relevant to their personality is that this is a trait they have that just isn't on their stat block but needs to be said, I think, is that they have a perfect and infinite memory.
They know everything.
This is a big, let me repeat that again. A perfect and infinite memory.
They beat elephants, guys. That's what? How?
Yes, and that's not even as good as their memory is. So their memory is a racial memory. They pass on their memories to their offspring. So when we say they have a perfect and infinite memory, they remember every single thing since the beginning of life.
That's cheating. That's literally cheating. You are born and you already know, like, AP calculus. You already went through school. So rip first Aboleth. Whoever that guy was, rip that dude.
Well, he's very famous because everyone has his memories. And he's actually, he could be called, I think his name was the eldest. And
isn't he or she still alive?
I think he might be still alive. And everyone has his memories. Except the ones he's currently making. Okay, so yeah, they're passed on from ancestor to ancestor, and not just like in some vague memory sense. It's perfect memory. They perfectly remember everything.
I literally don't remember preschool. I think I hit a girl with a toy train once.
Right, like you don't remember preschool. They remember preschool, and they also remember their great-great-great-great-great-grandfather's preschool.
Wait, so what happens if, like, we had that? We're like, oh my god, Vietnam.
Right.
When we hear popcorn popping, you start, like, just, like, everyone, like, jumps and, like, gets...
Vietnam's not that old, but yeah, we'd be like...
Well, no, but, like...
We'd be like, oh my god, the war between the two African tribes that started humanity. Oh! You know what I mean?
When you look at, like, eagles, no, the eagle tribe, how could they? Everyone looks at each other.
The red coats, from the colonial wars, but then also, anyway.
Also, you are the red.
So they remember all the things in the past, and that is very relevant to them, which we'll get into. But not only do they remember what their ancestors knew, they also gain the memories of the things they consume.
So they want memories.
They want memories. Yeah, they like to acquire memories. If they eat, if they eat your character, or they eat the head off your character with its, serrated circular mouth, they know everything about that character, and so they may learn everything about the party.
They can actually also just probe you too, with their telepathy to get your memories.
Okay, it's not on the stat block, but sure. It makes sense.
And when I say probe, I don't mean like with their tentacles. I mean like they physically they have slaves.
Well, they can't literally do that. That's not a stat they have.
Only the legendary ones can. It's
those are past editions where they used to separate them, and you can totally use those.
Freaking amazing.
So yeah, on some older editions,
but they'll eat you. They want to know what they want to know your worst day, your best day, what your 6th birthday was. They want to know what you ate on the 23rd of October, 2019.
Yeah, knowledge is power, and they have more of it than anyone. So they have a lot of power. Okay, but that's not the only thing about their personality. They are highly cruel, So let's start with that.
They're
Highly
not.
cruel. And basically they see cruelty and this mental enslavement as like an art form. It's like really just something they enjoy. And so this has very gross and just disturbing consequences with how you can describe them. So a couple ones is you could describe, like you could go into a Aboleth underwater lair and they may have just adorned their walls with living creatures just sitting there like in pain because they're enslaved, but they still are conscious. And so the Aboleth may just have enjoyed just putting these creatures up there like, hey, I've enslaved an elf, it's nailed to the wall. I've enslaved a Goliath, it's nailed to the wall.
So you're telling me the Leonardo da Vinci Aboleth is freaking like his Mona Lisa? God awful.
It's a real, it's a living creature.
Like literally just has a bunch of little kids, has their school bus in the back, just like babies too. Man, that guy must be freaking messed up.
Oh, it's messed up.
So, like,
and
God.
It's this very just like horrible combination of cruelty and their high ability to enslave. Well, they'll like enslave like a mother and then force the mother to just eat their child. Right?
What the hell, man?
Like that's just cruel, and that's stuff they enjoy doing. So they are just these cruel creatures, right? And so have no qualms in killing them, really. Like they may be these hyper intelligent species.
Wait, so what do they use slaves for then? Like, do they build them pyramids, or do they just say, let's just make all these guys fight? Like
they use it for what they want to do, which we'll talk about in their motivations. But just to keep going on personality, not only are they highly cruel, but they're highly intelligent. So that's also not a good thing to add on to cruelty. Pretty much nothing is a good thing to add. Cruelty doesn't add with anything well. But so, I mean, they were the first creatures in existence. They consider everything rightly theirs, and everything that any other species, has taken is just basically stolen in their opinion. So they're highly intelligent, and because they're so old, they've seen everything develop and just kind of understand everything on such a fundamental level.
So they're actually like very scary. Like they're actually pretty scary. Like if they wanted to take over the world, they would know how. They're like, hey, remember that magic item that one time, like a bajillion years ago, that one dumb elf used to like create the world?
They know
and they're like, wait, yeah. It's like, why don't we use that? Call our big daddy from like the far realm. He comes and kills everyone or something. I don't know, something dumb like that.
Yeah, totally. Like it's not a question of if they want to take over the world. A lot of them do.
Well, you're probably thinking like, why do they? It's like they want it back. It was taken from them.
Yeah. Let's just wait 1 second before we get into motivations. The last thing on personalities is that they are solitary in general, and this is just due to a shortage of Aboleths. But actually, I'm going to save that for the societal structure. I don't know why I'm talking about it right now. Yeah. Okay, motivations. What were you saying?
Motivations.
They want to take over the world. Why?
So why? Because at one point they were gods of the multiverse. At one point,
they did take over the world. They were the rulers of the world.
Yeah, and they enslaved everyone, and they made people fight each other in like a total war simulator. They had fun, you know. You know, they did all their cruel stuff. But then the gods came and freaking slapped them a bunch. You know, they're just a bunch of fish compared to a god.
Well, since you're saying it, it's pretty quick. But this is actually a fun fact. And basically, mammals, humans, all the races, not all the races, but humans were actually created by Aboleths. Aboleths did experiments and created them and used them as slaves. Because what else would you use them for?
Wait.
Yeah, this is a lore.
Now, you're telling me humans are made from Aboleths?
Pretty much. Now, of course, there's always competing lore, but part of Aboleth lore is that they created humanoids, and they just made them to be slaves. But because these humanoids did develop a capacity for thought and all that in order to be enslaved, the humans developed religion. And when they developed religion, the gods were born. And the gods saved the humans from the Aboleths. And the gods came down, had this big war with the Aboleths, demolished the Aboleth society, civilization, sent them running into the deep sea.
And so the Aboleths really messed up.
They messed up.
Mega time.
Yeah, they made humans, which then created gods, which then the gods cast out the Aboleths. So the Aboleths had all the power, and then the gods came out and pushed them out of it. So
theoretically, the Aboleths created their own undoing.
Yeah, in a sense, but Aboleths don't see it that way. Aboleths see it as the gods and humans and all that took what was ours, which is the world. And they're not just, this isn't just some ancient history they're salty about. They remember it as if it was in their lifetime because they have perfect memories. So this saltiness, literally saltiness, that they have.
They literally went to the salty depths of the ocean. They're mega salty.
Yeah, they're super salty. This saltiness they have is fresh, always, and will always be. So if you encounter an Aboleth, it sees you as those beings that took what was theirs.
So they really messed up.
So they hate you.
When they made those like fish people then. The Conti, I think that's what they're called.
They didn't. Those weren't the. Oh,
yeah.
We'll talk about those.
Just grab a thing and they can just like this is a god now.
We'll talk about those in enemies and allies. But So yeah, that's kind of that story. But so their motivations are one big one is that they want their world back. Like they had this world. They were the gods, and they want it back.
God dang it.
Yeah. But not only that, they want to be worshipped. They see themselves as these superior beings and very much enjoy being worshipped by the lesser beings as they see it. And in a way, they are superior, right? Like they are these alien, high-level creatures.
But yet they got bested.
But they got
losers. Freaking Aboleths thinking they're all cool. So we're like, you know what? We'll think something's even better than you. And then that thing actually poofs into existence. I love D&D religion, how it works. It's literally like, if we think hard enough, guys, anything is possible. And they thought hard enough, and boom. Jesus exists, and he casts them all out. The gods exist.
It's a great story.
I love it.
Yes. So in terms of their motivations, they not only want revenge, but they want everything they had back. And yeah, vengeance is a big one. Like they just see you as like these lesser creatures that they hate. It's like, I hate you guys. We are.
Like, imagine if we like poofed ants into like existence, made them do stuff, but then all the ants like turned, and then this mega ant came and freaking like slapped us a bunch and threw us somewhere.
Yeah,
we would be salty too. We're like, how these things that I created bested me? That's not gonna happen, you know.
Right. Yeah, they have a lot of hubris.
Very salty.
Yeah. Okay, so that's one motivation they have. And this also translates to a hatred for the gods. They'd love to take over the gods. Their big barrier here is that they are sea creatures. They can't just go up on land and be fine.
Well,
so,
I mean, would they beat the gods though? I mean,
no.
I mean, like the Aboleth stat street's impressive.
The Aboleth, the only way an Aboleth can really beat a god, I mean, besides becoming one, like I guess anything could, is that they are masterminds, right? And they can have these webs of slaves to have these master plots. And these plots are very secret. The Aboleths keep them on tight-lipped, right? And these plots could really be far-reaching, far enough that could possibly take down gods. But these are the things Aboleths are doing all the time. They're plotting, they're scheming, they're coming up with ways to achieve their goals and using slaves to do it.
They're a bunch of little fingers. They think chaos is
little fingers.
Yeah.
Right.
Game of Thrones reference, if you didn't know.
Yeah, true.
Man, so that's scary. So at any time, tomorrow, the gods could be overthrown, the Aboleths could rule again.
Pretty much.
At any
you never
time.
know what they're... And they're an amazing thing to put in a campaign because they can drive a campaign. Like, they can be that big villain. Because, I mean, they're masterminds, right? You need something at the end of the plot. This is a perfect creature for that. So that's kind of like their big motivations. Now... If you want, this is their last motivation that at least I know of, and it's not exactly as easy to use in a campaign. It's kind of a boring one in terms of from a plot perspective, but it's totally true. And it's that they sometimes just want to enjoy themselves. Like they are these sentient beings that are really powerful and don't necessarily need to spend any time doing anything. Like they can just enjoy themselves, and so what they enjoy doing is not necessarily it doesn't necessarily have anything to do with other races. So a lot of Aboleths don't waste their time dealing with the affairs of these other lesser races. They just don't care.
So they just chill and do their own thing. You know, they
sit
down, watch some Netflix.
I guess it'd be like if America, which is where we are from,
America.
was like the last country standing, and the rest of the world had been taken over by monkeys. Okay.
Wait.
We may be some people may be like, we need to take back this Earth. We deserve to have Earth.
But some are like,
some of us are like, let's just play some D&D. You know what I mean? Who cares? We're fine.
Wait, so once you realize it, imagine you're a being that you made all these things, and now a bunch of naked, stupid monkeys are just in control, are in control of are in control of the world. And they just want to kill you with metal and.
Yeah, that's what an Aboleth's perspective is.
Literally, we let a bunch of freaking naked monkey things run around, just destroying crap.
No, seriously, yeah. That's how it would be.
I wonder what dragons would think of Aboleths, or a sphinx. Aren't they kind of mega big brain too? An ancient dragon would look at Aboleth as you think you're better than me?
But the Aboleth is like, listen, buddy, I was here when your species started. I know which god started it, and I know how stupid that god is. So I know.
But then I feel like the dragon would be like, "Do you think I care? I could just make you ash, you freaking loser."
No, but then it rolls a wisdom saving throw, and then the Aboleth is like, "You're mine now, buddy."
But then he's like, I wonder why you guys got kicked in the behind by the gods. Freaking, you guys are nothing.
They're not.
You're lesser beings.
They are a CR10. Yeah.
I kind of feel like Aboleths would get roasted by all the other stuff. But how could you let these things beat you?
But Aboleths would never, because Aboleths are masterminds again, right? You're not just gonna. They're not just gonna walk up and be like, "I'm better." No, they're gonna
So they knew
win first and then gloat. Some of them have realized that they are these sea creatures that are confined by their own physical ability, and there's just no point in trying to take over the land. So they just don't.
That's not what they should do. What krakens do. Krakens just mutate themselves.
Aboleths they do a lot of experiments, but that's kind of a fun fact, so we'll save it.
Yeah. They should be doing what the krakens are doing. The Kraken is just mixing some random crap, drinking, and seeing what happens. Maybe I'll get a third hand. It's maybe they should be doing that, and maybe one Aboleth will get them chunky legs, like Squidward legs, and you can walk.
Yeah, start walking.
Yeah. Gets a big nose too. Talks like
right.
That too.
Okay, so we're making really good progress. They have so much lore to them that, as you might be able to tell, that they're just heavy in terms of the information we give. But I think we've given a big chunk. Let's keep going through, and then we'll get to the implications of all this.